I'm going to be checking my privilege today. Um, BuzzFeed made this, and BuzzFeed makes a lot of stuff that's really PC. Nothing wrong with that. But the whole checking your privilege thing um, seems weird to me, especially when there's like no follow through. There's no guidance to what to do once you've determined your level of privilege or of disadvantage, because it's not black and white. It is um, on a spectrum, I guess you can say. And so I hope this is interesting, or at least will help you kill time while you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Probably homework, since it's like the end of the term for most of y'all.
So I just went through the checklist, and it feels very biased. Because first off, it starts off with I am white, but I am white, but I'm also Filipino, and I was raised by Filipinos. The majority of the people I know are Filipino or some other like immigrant, just because I grew up in that kind of household, in that kind of community. Um, I haven't really lived with my dad or my other white relatives since I was like 10 or 11, and I don't really have their ways. I don't know if that even makes sense. But yes, you could check off I am white, but you can't check off anything else in regards to like what specific race you are. So that's one critique I think needs to be made. Because it's not very friendly for people who are biracial. I feel like it really corners you. You have to pick. And that's the problem I've always had. I feel like I always had to pick instead of representing both my ethnicities. On my dad's side, I am Irish Austrian. On my mom's side, I'm Filipino. And I hate things like this because it makes me feel like I have to say that I am white because my dad's white. But I don't get to put in the fact that I am also a person of color or that I am raised by people of color. But whatever, be biased. Alright, I'm just going to tell you guys what I did check off, and then I'm going to go over separately what I didn't check off and why. So, I am white. I checked that off. I felt like I had to. I felt like I was kind of bullied into that. I have never been discriminated against because of my skin color. I have never been told I'm attractive for my race. Um, I have never been a victim of violence because of my race. I have never been told I sound white. A stranger has never asked to touch my hair or asked if it was real. I have never pretended to be just friends with my significant other, with my sexuality, whether I'm dating girls or guys. I've always been upfront. Even if I'm scared, I'm like, I love you, and if I want to love you in public, I will. I've never been violently threatened because of my sexuality. I've never tried to change my gender. I did not know if they meant gender as in identity in terms of man or woman, or if they meant sex, like male and female. No, I have not. I have never been denied an opportunity because of my gender. So I checked off I don't have any student loans. And I just want to point out that that's not very fair just because it's so broad in my opinion. And it's probably just me overthinking it. But I feel like there's a difference between not having any student loans because you had a trust fund or because you have parents that can't afford it, good for you, versus, you know, you don't have any student loans because you had financial aid or because you went to a really cheap community college. I feel like there's definitely differences, but no matter what, I don't feel like people should be shamed just because they were lucky, or maybe they were smart enough to budget, or maybe they were just born into the right situation. No matter what, we should be glad that people are going to college and they're going to try and hopefully make their life better, hopefully make the world better at the same time. But just me thinking it. Okay, so moving on, I've never been homeless. That was a tricky question because a lot of people have different ideas of being homeless, like different levels. You know, there's living on the street, there's, you know, the camping, living in a shelter, and then there's like kind of like couch surfing where you stay with people you know, or maybe you're renting a room. And I'm gonna assume they mean living in a shelter or living on the street. I've never lived on the street. There have been times where I had to, growing up, we had to stay at other people's houses for an extended period of time because we couldn't afford rent where we were staying. I've never worried about making rent. I have had unpaid internships, which I think is kind of unfair to use that against someone. I think the ideology behind that is you can afford to work and not be paid for it, which is not fair because I do unpaid internships just because I like to learn. I also have to do them in order to graduate, but also because I'm all about service learning and I'm all about doing things for my community, and I kind of don't care about getting paid or not, even if it means going a while without certain things. Okay, I graduated high school. I graduated college. Well, I will graduate college. I checked it off anyways. I have traveled internationally once for free through my high school. My parents are heterosexual. That's not my fault. My parents are both alive, I guess. I do not have physical disabilities. I do not have any learning disabilities. I can afford medication only because I'm on state insurance. I can afford a therapist, again, on state insurance. I have used free the next couple of ones left that I have checked off. Kind of weird. To me, religion as a privilege is kind of weird because in a way you can and cannot choose. I don't know. Okay, so I've never been violently threatened or attacked for my religious beliefs, which is not very fair to use against me because I don't really tell people what my religion is, just because people usually either get offended when I explain it to them, or they're like, that's dumb, or oh, you need Jesus and shit like that, or whatever. There's a place of worship for my religion in my town. Kind of. Okay, let's see. All my jobs have been accommodating for my religious practices. I've had no one really at my work question me and tell me I can't do blah blah blah. Now I'm going to run through the ones I did not check off. I'm assuming they're the reasons why I'm disadvantaged or underprivileged. I have at times been the only person of my race in my room. I have been mocked for having an accent, just because I live around a lot of people who are immigrants, people who are not native English speakers. For example, my grandma and my mom, they still have their Filipino accents, and if I'm around them so often, I pick it up too. I have been called a racial slur. I am not heterosexual at all. I have had to lie about my sexuality. I have had to come out. I have doubted my parents' acceptance of my sexuality just because I have been told by my parents very hurtful things such as it's just a phase or you're going to hell and shit like that. I have been called a fag. I have been called a dyke. I have been called derogatory terms relating to homosexuality. I have had to hide about my sexuality. I have been ostracized by my religion or my past religions for my sexuality. I have been told that I will burn in hell. And I have been told that my sexuality is just a phase. I've been told this by many different people growing up. This I thought was kind of... I have mixed feelings about this one. The I am a man. Of course I did not check that off because I'm not a man. I feel like this really singles out certain people. I don't feel comfortable in the gender I am for many reasons. I don't identify with the gender I was born with just because I'm gender fluid. I do not make more money than my professional counterpart. The whole age gap thing, whatever. Sometimes I do feel unsafe because of my gender. And this time I mean my sex in relation to certain situations are a little unsafe for females. Just my parents don't pay any of my bills. I wish they did. That would be awesome. But that would be unfair to them because they can't pay most of theirs. I do rely on public transportation, but I feel like that's unfair because I live in Portland where everyone tries to be green and they try to take the bus or the mags or they try to ride the bike. I do not buy new clothes once a month. Maybe once a year, maybe once every 2 years. Though lately I have been buying more clothes, but that's because I've been losing the weight. I do my own taxes because I'm scared to have someone else do it. I have felt poor because I am poor. I have worked in sales. Never gone to summer camp, never gone to a private school, never gone to an elite college. My parents have not paid any of my tuition. I almost didn't go to college because my dad told me straight up that he was not going to pay for anything because he can't, and that's fine. I understand that. And he's like, if you want to go, you better get that financial aid or else you're not going at all. I've had roommates. I've not always had cable or internet. I do not travel internationally once a year. I haven't really studied abroad. I know what Sally Mae is. I get a lot of their emails. I don't spend spring breaks doing anything. And I don't have frequent flyer miles. My parents are divorced. I do have social disabilities. Well, disability, not plural, my bad. And I have had an eating disorder. Okay, so I have had an eating disorder. You guys already knew that. I have been depressed, have considered suicide. On one occasion, I did attempt suicide. It failed. Luckily, fortunately, years ago, my friend stopped me. But I forgot to check that off, but I have never taken medication for my mental health just because, I don't know, I kind of grew up in this household where the mentality is you don't need you don't need a doctor to tell you that you're sad, just like you don't need a doctor to tell you that you're happy. And there was that whole mentality against getting mental health help. I don't know. I have obviously been told that I'm overweight. And I have obviously felt overweight. And I have been shamed for my body type. And then this one was weird. I do consider myself physically attractive, but at the same time I don't, so I didn't know what to put there. I have had an addiction to oxycodone. I have been shamed for my religious beliefs. That's why I don't tell people about it. I have lied about my religion and my ethnicity as a self-defense, just because people get so, I don't know, in my experience, when I tell people my ethnicity, I get a lot of weird questions like, you don't look Filipino, or you look so white, or, oh yeah, you totally look mixed, but I thought you were like Mexican, are you sure you're not Mexican, or, oh, your family's from the Philippines, did they ever eat dogs there, like in China, and, you know, do they come here legally though? Is it possible to get here illegally, like Mexicans? Yeah, I've heard dumb shit like that. I'm gonna speed through the next ones because they're all about identities. So I have been cyberbullied. I have been bullied as a child, both, you know, in school and at home. I have tried distancing myself from my identities. I have felt self-conscious about them, and I have been questioned. And when in the terms of identities, I don't know how to put this. I don't know what they mean specifically, like if they mean everything. The last question is, I feel privileged because of the identities I was born with. That is so weird to me because, like, I can't imagine someone actually, like, checking that off. Like, I mean, I guess. We'll see. And that is it. Time to check my privilege. So my score is, you live with 30 out of 100 points of privilege. Not surprised. You're not privileged at all. You grew up with an intersectional, complicated identity. And life never lets you forget it. You've had your fair share of struggles, and you've worked hard to overcome them. Okay, making me feel kind of down. We do not live in an ideal world, and you had to learn that the hard way. Yeah, it's called development and growing up and shit. Okay, it is not your responsibility to educate those with more advantages than you. True. But if you decide you want to, go ahead and send them this quiz. Hopefully it will help. Help who? I would feel like such an asshole if I sent this out to people. Check your privilege! I'm gonna make you feel bad for things that you can't really control. Some of these things are like, feel like luck. Let's look up, what is the definition of privilege? Let's see here. Okay. It's a special right. It's an advantage, yeah, or immunity granted or available only to a particular person or group of people. So when you think about it as a special right, that feels, again, like with the whole religion aspect, that feels so weird to think of religion as being a privilege, or you're privileged because of your religion. But yeah, I can see how it is, especially like in Western cultures, how it can be if you have a more mainstream or more respected religion versus if you had something more obscure, like if you're Wiccan, or obviously if you're a Satanist, people are probably going to be hating on you. But yeah, I guess I'm super underprivileged. I'm not even surprised. But what does all this mean? there are a lot of people in the comment sections that are not happy about this, either about their score or about other people's idea of this whole privilege thing, especially when it comes to SJWs. Oh my god. But one comment I kind of like, just because it's something I thought about too, the whole graduating from high school as a privilege, when really isn't it kind of like an accomplishment? Isn't it something that everyone has access to? In a way, like, if you look at the surface, yes. But then you have to think about all the other factors that go into what might impact someone graduating or not graduating, such as if they grew up in a poor community that doesn't have a lot of academic resources, as in tutoring or a place to study, or if they grew up with parents that don't give a shit about graduating. Maybe they didn't graduate, or maybe they would rather you worked versus going to school. So that one is a weird one. What do you guys think? I believe in education. I think it's super important, though you can get it in many different forms besides school. Like you can do internships, trade schools, there's read a goddamn book, watching documentaries, interacting with people. There's so many ways to learn. Um, and a piece of paper is not actual knowledge. Diplomas. I have not seen my diploma since I graduated. I don't know where it went. I don't know. Is that a bad thing? I haven't needed it yet. It's literally a waste of paper. I feel bad for the trees that went to all our diplomas.
There you go. That's my 2 cents on checking your privilege from BuzzFeed. Privilege is actually a lot more complex. This is just the surface of my opinions. It actually does go deeper than that. I actually had to edit this video, so it may seem a little jumpy, but trust me, it was a lot longer than this. Just because I talk too fucking much. So, for shits and giggles, I think you should go ahead and check your privilege just for fun. And definitely read the comment section just because it's really interesting. Some people are kind of funny. Some people are really petty, though. But that's the world. The world of the internet. So, what do you guys think about this? If you do take the check your privilege little quiz, let me know what you got. And what do you think about it? Is this all shit? Is this SJW shit? Is this something important? Where did BuzzFeed mess up? Or maybe this thing is perfect, and maybe I'm the only person that overthinks this because I overthink everything. Alright, thank you guys. Bye.